Already.
Is that how we're recording now?
Yeah.
Oh. So hello again, everyone. This is another episode of The Wandering Party. To summarise last session, players reached the Underdark. Some creepy stuff happened, and now we're here. The party finds itself at a junction in the tunnel. They can either take a left or a right.
I'm presuming Drow would have marked the tunnels.
They may well have done.
I'm presuming I would know where and how.
You would.
And look at those markings.
Roll a perception check. Unfortunately, you don't see the markings where you'd expect them to be.
I run my hand over the stone there.
Nothing.
You're acting too much like a dwarf there, Drow.
Well, this is either a new tunnel or someone took away the markings. Would I think the center is... Would I think, like, the city is left or right?
Without knowing the tunnel, you...
But I've had a general, city here. I'm making, for the podcast viewers, I'm making, map gestures with my hands.
Relative positioning gestures, I think is what should be identified as.
Forest of Wulfa here, city way off to the right.
Well, either way, you have to go through the forest. So for you, I guess, you get the impression that either one of these tunnels will probably take you down to the ground level of the forest. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to go left or right. You don't really know. With the way the forest has plenty changed and the fact the tunnel, the cavern, gone massively up, there's nothing to say it hasn't gone massively either to the left or right either. It's not clear.
I just look at the rest of the party and shrug. Either way.
Flip a coin.
May as well.
Left it is then.
It is then, okay.
We go right, I'm joking.
If you're willing to flip a coin, you are ceding the path to fate, and I'm choosing.
Do you want me to send Sable down these tunnels first?
I mean, that is up to you. It would probably be wise. Though, I'm not sure we could guarantee his safety.
You can't guarantee safety if I'm sending them scouting either way.
This is another thing where we have to hold you. Make sure you don't fall down.
Alice will take up position again.
Yeah, she'll hold on to, put a hand on Alice's shoulder and send Sable down the left tunnel.
As you swap to Sable's vision, there's a long moment where Sable is just looking straight at your now closed eyes. There's a long moment of the owl looking of really this again before you just see the bird's wing extend and you notice you can see through its eyes and it just cuffs you across the back of the head and you're like,
you really should have seen that one coming.
I mean, should have summoned you as a celestial spirit.
You see the owl look down at its own talons and lifts one of its taloned feet.
Okay, just do your job.
It flies off down the left tunnel. Keeps going. And then suddenly the tunnel opens and you see mossy ground and what looks to be like tree trunks, but they're like, there's no bark. They look soft and spongy. Sable weaves round them a little bit, heading a little bit further in before deciding to stop. As you realise, there's mushrooms of different sizes around the bases of these large, thick trunks.
Okay.
Sable looks upward, and you see at the top, essentially, what you'd expect to see under the cup of a mushroom.
All right. go.
Then Sable's vision just stops. And you're back in your own head.
Shit. Sable? She'll try to summon Sable. Or...
Nothing happens.
Okay. Left tunnel is the mushroom forest. However, I lost Sable.
Lost Sable.
We should not go underneath those mushrooms.
Is it a straight tunnel?
It's pretty straight, yeah.
Yeah.
Standing at the opening, is it straight enough for me to be able to see the other end, bearing in mind I've got 120 feet of dark vision and Sable only lasts 100 feet?
Yeah, you can see the end of it, but it's difficult to see beyond that.
Can I see anything kind of down the tunnel?
No, it's just a tunnel.
It just looks like a tunnel. I can't see anything. Zansk?
You have to go through the forest to get to the tunnels that will take us to the city.
Well, whatever happened, I can't summon Sable. That means either... That means he's dead. Or he poofed.
I am sorry.
Looking down the
And
right-hand
last thing-
tunnel. Sorry.
The last thing I saw was him looking up underneath the mushroom caps and the vision fade.
Would Zansk presume probably Cloaker?
You would have.
Would that be like a...
You would have heard a cloaker.
Yeah, I
There are
didn't hear
many
no
things.
cloakers.
There are many things it could be.
Well, I didn't hear or see anything except for the forest, the mushroom forest. I'm assuming those mushrooms are toxic.
Not much more than mine.
Looking down the right-hand tunnel, is it straight enough to see down?
It's not straight, that one, unfortunately. It's curved.
Okay.
So you can see about 50 feet before the curve just takes it out of your line of sight.
Okay.
That too just looks like a tunnel.
So 100 feet down that way, we know we have a forest. That way, that's about 50 feet, and then it turns. So I'm not sure.
I'd imagine it also ends in the forest.
I'd rather not walk underneath the mushrooms. But you've lived here longer, so if you think they're okay, then
Not that I think they're okay, it's that I think we have no choice. I mean, we can go right, but I'm pretty sure it will end up back in the forest. And it's not like we've had many thousand places to try a different route.
Didn't we get potions of poison resistance? Or am I imagining that?
I believe we did.
Hold cooler. I have to check my many handouts. 3 poison darts. So I'm getting this handout. I have 2 anti-venom. I have to sip rope. 4 potions of poison resistance.
Of potion resistance to poison resistance?
Yes.
Potions of potion resistance.
That's
Poisons of potion resistance?
That's who's going to invent it.
Potion resistance.
Yeah.
Nice.
For potions of poison and...
I'm not presuming to know about the Underdark, because this place is fucking creepy and I don't have a clue. But mushrooms are used for poisons and stuff, so If it is
Yes.
emitting some kind of gas, I would assume it'd be poisonous, and we do have the potions of poison resistance if necessary.
Potions are also used for healing, food, salads.
Potion of salad resistance?
That's
That
what I
sounds
was gonna say.
amazing.
He did say potions, right?
Look,
Sure.
I'm very tired.
That's just salad is just when someone misreads slard. Let's be real.
I would like to order 1 potion of salad resistance. Someone
You
keeps
best-
replacing my food with vegan variants.
You best believe you've got to wait.
Well, let's see. Let's see what's going on with the mushrooms. How about that?
Hmm.
Who knows?
We have them if needed.
Maybe Sable's just not responding for some reason, or that she frowns.
I
The
try to look positive.
Underdark class, does it still class as another plane of existence?
Nope.
It's on the material plane.
Could there be extraplanar residue interfering? I don't know. Can you summon through planes?
I don't believe actually I'm able to answer this question for you guys at this point.
I was asking in character.
Oh, good.
Exactly, I am. Where are you? There's the Find Familiar. Book. It disappears into a pocket dimension and waits for your summon. So I never really heard of like other dimensions interfering.
No, it's
Shouldn't
just a
it?
theory. Shall we then?
I guess I'll still just start walking.
Sorry, left tunnel.
Yes.
This tunnel.
Okay.
You know, this would all gone a lot smoother if you just said yes when the dwarf said left tunnel.
No comment.
Alice will again take the last position,
Second to last.
keeping an ear out for anything that might be coming up behind them.
Okay. So you guys head down the tunnel. It is smooth. Nothing happens. It's pretty much unmolested the entire time. It's just creepy, like that breathing feeling is still there of the wind just washing over and then being pulled past you as it goes back. It's just unpleasant. You reach the end of the tunnel, and there's moss under your feet as you step out into the forest. And these large trunks are clearly the stalks of mushrooms, but they are like each one of these is clearly is as thick as Red Sam is wide.
Hey, it's accurate though.
You're the closest point of reference for something that's chunky and sturdy, so hence why you were used.
I'll take the sturdy.
Yeah, fun-sized dwarf. And there are smaller mushrooms around, but they only just barely poke out of the moss like you expect in a normal forest. It's still oddly quiet, and there are other fungal growths that are they're unusual. I don't know how to describe them for you. They're like there's some that are almost like parodies of small trees. They come up and where you'd expect to have like a green sort of almost like bowl where the branches start coming out that then loops up and goes to a point. Instead of this normal green color you're used to. Thank you for yawning in the middle of my description, Claire. Much appreciated. There is this lattice of pinks and purples as it looks a lot like almost sort of like the way that mushroom almost looks like, I guess, like flesh, like it has that odd, eerie, just sick parody of something you're used to seeing look to it. But rising from certain points are essentially tentacles that sort of like stalk, not tentacles, but like almost like parodies of branches that reach further up and curl off. It just sits there and just sort of waves gently in this as this breathing happens. And there's more of these parodies of small trees and shrubs dotted around. They're all clearly fungal. But the ground is covered in moss. It's difficult to tell this is a cave. Unless this is unfortunate for you, this is setting you right up the heebie-jeebie scale, because this is like a very much a twisted parody of a surfaced forest.
I mean, my favourite terrain is forest. It doesn't specify tree forests. This is a forest of mushrooms.
This is not the kind of forest you'd be able to work through, I'm afraid. I get what you're trying to do, and I appreciate it, but it's too alien for that.
Better luck next time, Alice.
But inspiration for the audacity?
Otherwise, you have inspiration all the time, Red Sam, and I can't be doing that.
I'm audacious.
The second she kind of steps out the tunnel, she instantly looks on edge, like more on edge than she already was. Clearly very unsettled right now.
There is no signs of anything about Sable, is there?
Nope.
Yeah. Great.
Looking around for any signs of danger.
With how dense these different fungal shapes are, it's difficult to see a great deal of distance. You don't see anything that looks immediately overtly threatening. There's what looks to be like clumps of berries at the base of some of these larger trunks, but nothing that catches your eye as being particularly threatening.
Zansk, do you happen to recognize any of these species of mushrooms?
Would these be familiar to him?
Most of these you are pretty familiar with. There's a couple that you'd peg are probably the rarer types that you would not have needed to know about, but like a specific herbalist, drow herbalist, would probably know.
I'm picking those.
The berry-like spores, the berry-like, what are they, like growths of mushrooms. There you go. That's what I was looking for. At the base of these large trunks, you don't recognize at all. They're like against the almost like white of these trunks in your grayscale vision. These are like almost like blackberries. They're big chunky things though.
Yeah, maybe we don't touch these. I'll point to them. These though? They're supposed to be here.
That's somewhat reassuring.
So, native species and invasive. Got it.
Sure.
I'm not planning to touch anything until you tell me to hit it with my hammer.
Do I have to specifically tell you, or can you just...
I mean,
No,
I
everyone
can
else is hidden.
infer from context, but if you say, Red Sam, swing away, then I'm going to hit a thing.
Okay. We should probably stick to the wall and make
I like
our way
that idea.
around.
Sorry, what was that, Zoe?
So I like that idea.
And those cloaks are still hunting us.
So we gotta be quiet.
I can do quiet. I can also do making everyone else slightly more quiet too.
Remember that thing I did when during the war that gave us a bit of a boost and a little pep in our step in case something happens? Gift of alacrity. Alacrity. I have a feeling I should probably do that before we enter this forest. Can you hear me?
We can.
Ross is muted because they're conferring.
I think
No,
they're trying to
because-
stop Dexter barking.
Yeah, because there's foxes outside, and he's literally like he's by the door, tail up. Like,
There are no
offering them
foxes in the Underdark. Maybe under foxes.
straight up wants to go out there and like hunt them or something stupid, but he's a small dog.
So, what I'm gonna do is. I think
I will drop past without trace.
Let's the sneaky thing is probably useful, but let's not waste too many resources. How long have we been still around?
Well, you've been talking for what, 5, 10 minutes?
How long?
5, 10 minutes?
Okay. Count kind of as
Well,
a short
then-
rest.
Oh,
I guess along the way, she will spend a minute to cast this on herself.
and you guys are walking along by keeping the wall on one side, right? That's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to be quiet.
People are trying to be stealthy. Please roll me a stealth check.
That is a 26.
Yes.
Nope.
No, says the dwarf.
I refuse to be stealthy at all.
That really awkward moment the wizard out stealths the part rogue.
Yeah. I rolled a
Boss.
4. It's really depressing.
Oh, well, you're still stealthy than half the party.
I'm learning. Coming for you, Alice.
Hey, Ret Sam's nat 1 is still an 11. It's fine.
Is it though?
Do 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 do. Red Sam starting between the wall and the wall.
Mhm.
Stealthily.
So you guys creep around the edge of this forest and keeping the wall one side. Did you want to keep the wall to your left or to your right?
No.
Okay.
An arbitrary choice, but
Well, it's not, because if you have it on your right, there's every chance you're now walking towards the right-hand tunnel exit that you've just not
Yeah.
taken. So, hey. Okay, so you set off. You notice you're moving away from the tunnel. That these fungal trees and other growth seem to get right up to the wall in places. The moss is growing up and almost seemingly to be eating grooves out of the wall over time. So you can see where the mosses are clambering up the wall and where the wall is like beginning to dent in certain places. Different stone densities are attacked differently by the plant growth.
maybe we don't touch the wall.
And in this increasingly dense forest, it becomes quite difficult to judge how far you can see. But as you're moving around, you're still mostly remaining quiet. Though after a few moments, there's a crunch as Red Sam put his foot through the moss and steps through something that's underneath.
Stealth, 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 stealth.
It'd be a lot stealthier if you don't say stealth with every step you take.
It's the stealth song. I've got to sing it, otherwise
Sing
they'll
it
be
in
able
your
to see
head.
me. That's not how magic works.
It's not magic at all.
I am
Not
attempting to
persuading with this.
discover a new school of magic, so there you
Bard's
go.
already got that singing magic covered.
I.
No, he's working on faith, but they call that being a paladin.
Stealth, 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 squelch, stealth, stealth,
I
stealth.
would like to gag Ret Sam, please.
I bite.
Does anyone check what Red Sam has just trodden in?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would probably glance back.
You guys As you look back, you note the white of exposed bone as Retson pulls his foot out of what he's just stood in.
Has he just happened to have stood in someone's desiccated ribcage?
Yes, he has indeed.
Ow. Wait, he's dead. Ew.
Retson has put his foot on someone's sternum and then promptly crushed it. as he's
I
put his
would
foot
like
through
to
his ribcage.
create a new spell entitled Pass Without Vomit.
Side effect past that vomit is you immediately have to use the toilet.
Can I just drink hot water on his boots between us without him noticing?
But he's just put his. There's nothing on his feet.
Just in case.
He's
I mean,
put his
there may
foot
be
through
bone
moss.
dust, but who cares
Oh,
about
yes,
bone
yes.
dust?
Dance skeletons are more your thing. Do you want to check it out?
Third, I think it's part of my help.
Sorry, I should not be laughing at that.
I go and have a quick look.
It's
I don't actually bend down to look at it. No.
in the
Sure, I'll take-
moss. He's an elf-shaped skeleton.
Probably drow.
Any idea what killed it? It might give us a clue what's out here.
Could have been the cloakers.
I mean,
And stragglers.
his ribcage is entirely shattered from when Redson put his foot through it.
There's too much damage, I'd never. Besides, I don't exactly study dead things. The living is more my forte.
But don't mushrooms decompose things? So that's technically like
I'm an enigma.
borderline dead. Okay.
Death of life. You live, I heal you. Eventually you die and you decay and you start again.
As you're giving them the lecture on the circle of life, Zan, you turn around and you see just looming in the distance a floating circular form.
Okay.
Floating circular form.
Could be.
But it looks like stingray. Not circular.
Somewhat circular.
Going to make it clearer for you.
Yeah.
They
And more rhomboidus.
What is it?
this floating circular form has what looks to be several protruding like tentacle arms extending from it.
On the top parts, maybe?
No.
Is this
No.
something I would have seen previously in my visions?
Pardon?
Does
Have I seen this in my visions?
Have I seen
the
something like
circular
this on a
form?
bridge?
No, but you're pretty sure there's creatures who are round and circular and floaty who really don't like people passing through their areas.
And we've encountered one.
Yeah, you got to behold these things.
I want to eye it up suspiciously.
That is what you see. Like when you see this floating thing looming in the distance.
Stance just turns and is like, oh.
Would Alice recognise this?
No. You've not been somewhere that has these, unfortunately.
God
Would
damn
I-
it. Would
I
I have
read
read
about
about
this?
the
I'll give Celeste. I'll give
Can I roll
Celeste an Arcana
history?
check. I'll give you an Arcana.
Arcana? Not history? Because history? Okay, Arcana.
giving
Well,
you
they're
Arcana.
both the same.
Any family stories handed down about evil beholders and
You hunted dragons and natural beasts.
I'm grasping at straws here.
I wish to yell at Alice, it's not a dragon!
No shit, it's not got any fucking wings.
You call Chris a dragon? You call Brewmaster a dragon?
Yeah, that's
Celeste,
why you say just don't function.
as you turn around and see this, you're like, oh, as your brain just goes, if that's a beholder, we're fucked.
Yeah, you see her face turn pale and she's like, oh, I think I know what killed Sable now. That might be a beholder.
It is.
What's a beholder?
That.
Well,
I
You remember the
gathered
blue
that-
dragon?
Yeah.
This is worse. This is way meaner.
Oh.
I kind of raise my voice a little so you can hear me picking it up.
It doesn't appear to have noticed you yet.
Oh, okay, then I don't do that.
guys, we
Yeah,
need-
it
we
hasn't
need to, like,
spotted
hide.
you. You
I
guys
would
have
like
spotted it.
to hide.
I would like to hide.
We're kind of hiding.
Okay.
Let's
Where what would you like to hide?
Behind a
Let's hide.
tree.
You want to go hide behind the big chunky right, like too drunk, yeah.
Yes.
I would
So
like
that's
to
a
make Wrexham hide.
36.
I can't hear all of you talking at once. You throw yourself behind the trunk of the tree, Alice, like as subtly as you can, just like nope. You realize the tree you've chosen, as you sort of roll on the ground, you realize the tree you've chosen has some of those nasty looking like berry like growths that Zant said fucking avoid them. Celeste, you just sort of fall over on the spot into the moss. You just sort of like, oh shit, and you just sort of scrabble moss over yourself, like no, no, no.
If it sees me, I'll be able to use my magic then.
If it sees me, I'll surprise it with magical powers. Stopping. Does anyone else attempt to hide?
Can I make Wrexham hide and then hide myself?
No. Let them kind of hide, and you can assist him, and you can just stand there like a lemon, or you can both attempt to hide.
Lemon.
Beth's holding her hand up. She wants to ask a question. So do you want me to go to Beth, or you decide what you want to do?
I have one question before you do that. Can I stand against the cavern wall and blend in?
I'm the fucking stealth check. That's what you want to fucking do. Just fucking try it.
How far am I hidden from Zansk and the cavern wall? Because past without trace is a radius.
You guys have kept it to one side, like so. You're fine. As Zant's nat 20 is, he just goes, wall it is then. He just leans against the wall casually and disappears.
I close my eyes so you can't see them. I squint through them though so I can see.
What's that?
Ross, check your DM.
Okay. I'll take it to it.
So, in hushed tones, Retsam is going to be like, Zansk, can't you, like, obscure us, hide us, like some kind of foggy thing? And as he does this, kind of a cloud of fog descends around him.
His tree subtly shifts as if directing the fog cloud. The rest of them, you can also roll me a stealth check.
Better than me.
But I do get the benefit of Pass Without Trace, which gives me a
21.
That's 10.
plus 10. I'm hidden for once.
You hope.
Okay, I hope.
This is a being with many eyes.
And as it floats closer, it dips down directly over where Celeste is. Celeste, you have a moment to look at this thing. As it draws just close enough for you to make out, like, as it draws so close, you can actually get a good look at it. Whereas the others are like, either have their eyes closed and squinting or obscure their vision, or just like, I don't want to risk any of this shit. You're lying in the moss going, oh, fuck, as you're looking up at it. You note the protrusions coming from it, there are these almost like stalks that come out of its sides and from its top. They end in rounded fungal growths. That's what you're looking at is very round, just like a beholder. But this thing appears to be fungal in nature.
Arcana? Because I know. How much do I know about beholders? Like, how much do I know about
You
like
knew
their
the
dreamings,
name.
or I just know the name?
You knew the name and that they were very, very bad. You didn't want to go anywhere near them. Like, nope.
I swear to God, if this is just a beholder with like athlete's foot, I am going to be chef's kiss. Sorry, athlete's eyeball.
Could I? Can I do? Okay, so then, with that other roll that I had, can I make another roll to maybe see if I can
You can try it.
recall more information? Arcana or history?
Arcana.
Being in the moment.
There's not a great deal of information about the Underdark. But this might have once been a beholder, but it looks far more like a very large ex-beholder that is just been completely consumed by like naturally parasitic fungi from the Underdark. From just looking at it as it sort of floats over you, it tilts as the air sort of moves around it. And as it sort of, you note the eye as it looks down at you is just glassed over like it's been long since doesn't see any further, like it's almost white. As this large thing just bobs gently past you, it moves toward the fog cloud, seemingly without a care in the world. It's just about to pass out of your range. Such it. You just in it at all, or you just gonna let it go by?
Let it go by. And that's what Celeste is gonna do.
Good.
This thing just bobs gently through the air, past all of you, and away.
She will immediately get up and start brushing herself off.
Past out of sight, you will see
Prestidigitating.
Celeste sit up, then stand up, and then just brush the moss off herself with prestidigitation and go, nope.
Yeah, she trying to get herself as clean as she can be.
Which direction was it travelling?
It is bobbed away in the direction you guys have just come from. But judging from how it's moving, it's subject to the whim of the breeze, as it were. So
So as long as we keep travelling in the same direction we were, we're heading away from it.
as long as it
Its
doesn't,
current trajectory.
provided it doesn't suddenly decide to express some sort of sentience in which direction it wishes to travel, yes.
I don't think that thing was alive.
When I start hearing the conversation, I'm like, thanks, Zansk, but can you help me get rid of this now?
I just take a step from my wall. That I haven't brought that.
No, this is one of yours. I appreciate the assist.
Not me.
Whoever's it is, it's really handy, and they should keep that prepped.
I'm going to edge my way towards the voices.
We should
Edge
keep
forward,
going.
you put your foot back through the same skeleton, this time crushing the skull.
Trixie Druids.
That thing, as I said before, that thing's not alive. It had mushrooms growing all over it. Like a parasite.
This place has changed many things. I would imagine it's it is subject to the same fate.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's gonna. I don't believe it'll be as perceptive as from what I remember from what I remember from teachings, but
They are usually
I guess we can just keep going.
with haste. Maybe. Would be good. Like, can I reach out to a red and kind of pull him from the fog? Yeah, the fog buddy is not me. I just raise an eyebrow at the tree.
As Sam is pulled free of the fog bound, frog seems to swirl in on itself and is drawn back into the tree.
I think you're playing silly buggers with me, Zansk.
Nope,
I know that's
promise.
something you're capable of.
I promise. Honor this tree. Nothing.
As you say that name, you very much hear some scratching on the walls of the cavern.
I'd like to look towards the direction the scratching came from.
Keep moving.
You guys, the perceptive people look up just in time to see what looks like the hint of a tail as it whips onto the, as something jumps from the cavern wall to the top of the mushrooms and is gone.
Would I make the
Okay.
assumption closer?
No.
No.
On the top of Dell? No way, it's a cloaker.
Would I?
In fact, it was
What?
jumping like that. No.
Type of tail.
Long, very vicious looking. It's almost like it ended in an actual formed sword point.
I presume I know what it is then.
Did it
Yeah,
look like a
presume.
giant scorpion tail?
No.
Okay.
It looked far too small and far too agile for that.
Did I see those things when I first had Sable go down towards the mushroom forest?
Nope.
Okay.
We should get moving.
Mm-hmm.
And stealthy, keep on moving.
Remember, when you stealth, you move at half speed.
It's fine.
Just reminding you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who wishes to stealth can roll me a stealth check.
What's the 26?
I will keep pace with the rest of them. I can move at normal speed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You mean with Retsam? He needs it.
One day, Red Sun will stealth. One day. On the day Red Sun rolls a natural 20 on a stealth check, I promise I will
He
give him
doesn't
inspiration.
even need the disadvantage from being in heavy armor. That's the depressing thing.
Don't judge.
If literally, if Red Sun ever rolls a crit success on a stealth check, and that actually takes effect, like it's in that rare moment where it does actually work out for him, I swear he will get an inspiration.
Alright, I'll make sure that goes in the episode so we've got proof.
Yeah, no, I'm fully aware of that. So you guys continue on. Zansk, after a while, it does occur to you that if you skirt round this forest by the one wall in particular, you could be walking for significantly longer than you perhaps need to. But one of you lucky people who can roll me a D100.
Well, I don't know.
100.
I'll do it.
Oh, I was gonna.
Oh, no, you can do it then, Kat.
81. Nice.
100 beholders.
As you go, so it takes you guys are sneaking in front of the hour. You don't see more of the floating beholder lookalikes. It's eerily quiet. Zans, you'd expect to have seen some of the smaller creatures, like the prey creatures, about the place.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just nothing. You would have expected to see bats or some other kind of creature loitering about the place. Nothing.
This is slim pickings for the hunters.
Then you hear what sounds like a rip and a crack deeper in the forest.
Mm-hmm. Do I think I know what this sound is, or?
Well, it sounds distinctly like something sort of ripped through part of a trunk of one of these mushrooms. As you see something, you hear the creaking of something, you hear the impact of something shifting deeper in, like there's a low thud of two heavy things colliding. There's a very There's a sudden like yelp, and then it's like a screech of not pain but of fear is muffled almost immediately. I just kicked Dexter in the face. Sorry, buddy. Whoops. He's, in my defense, audience, he is under the desk and I can't see him.
Would Zansk have a good feeling about where they are now in relation to where they need to be to go to the city?
I'll give you a survival check.
That is a 23.
You can hazard a relatively educated guess.
And are we walking around the wrong way?
Pretty much, yeah. The quickest way to get to the best access onto the city, bear in mind that'd be like the main access tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
You would need to take a 90 degree to the right and just walk straight across the middle of the forest. You are like the opposite end of the cavern.
And probably stop. We need to go that way. And he kind of points through the forest.
What?
Yeah, I've worked out where we are now.
No, thank you.
We will be walking for days in this place.
Oh.
And we can either walk through days and encounter God knows what, or we go across.
You're basically telling us to walk towards the big, scary, crashy, bangy sound.
Basically, yes.
Like,
Yeah.
directly towards the one thing we probably don't want to go towards right now.
I'm pretty sure there are many things we don't want to go towards.
Yeah, but at least we have a vague idea what that one is.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, Zansk, but it's the things that don't make big, crashy, bangy noises that you should really be worried about.
You mean the things that are following us?
Or the things that
Alice
lay
looks
traps for
around.
us.
Is there anything following us?
You can roll a perception check.
Stanley is pretty much presuming they are being hunted at all times.
That is 17.
Just the edge of your vision, you just catch something moving behind you. But it's too quick, Alice, which is a bit upsetting for you. It's too fast for you to get a beat on.
I don't like this. This all feels very wrong.
You don't like the feeling of being hunted, Hunter.
Um,
Make a joke out of that.
She kind of looks up to the mushroom trees. This isn't right. None of this is right.
I look
Forests aren't meant to be mushrooms.
It's pretty normal.
That's pretty judgmental.
How are you being forced?
Doesn't your brain just goes, oh, you bring one of those big mushrooms down, you could be a family of 100 for like weeks.
This is pretty standard.
Do you guys stay by the wall, or do you guys want to move inward?
I'm just afraid of catching whatever that beholder caught. I can't hear
goes
you,
to say
Clay.
something and then closes his mouth.
Go on.
You already what that thing thought.
Wait, what?
I mean, you must have
He's a
noticed
mushroom druid.
the similarity.
He's a drow druid.
Well, here's the thing: the difference between you and that beholder is you're able to maintain sentience. I don't think that thing had a mind.
Yeah, I still won't want to get in a fight with it.
If it
But
makes the trip quicker,
we can always go on a little bit and then cross.
Just, we might as well cross now. I don't think we're probably not going to find a better place, are we? It's not like it's going to be a big path through the middle of it.
Cross the druid.
Probably not.
Either way,
I sigh and then just start walking.
The grouse sets off into the forest.
can I? Oh, it's gonna look so stupid. Never mind.
What?
Oh, she was gonna put her shield above her head, like try, like as if she was like in a rainstorm or something.
That's what you want to do. So
Alice will
no,
take. Sorry.
no, go.
So Alice will take one last look around before stepping into the forest for a nat 20.
You're being followed.
By
You don't see it. Every time you think you've spotted it, you're just catching like the edges of the tail as it's already moving. And then it's not where you as you see the tail, you're like, oh, so it must be hit. It's just not there. And then you catch it moving again, like just away from where you thought it would be. You just can't quite keep up with it.
I'm gonna try and keep track of it following us. Now
Whatever
that
it is,
now that I'm aware of it.
whatever it is straight up supernaturally fast. Like you have to stop after a moment because you're like, shit, that thing is now intentionally trying to throw me off.
Damn it.
I presume I noticed her looking around.
Yes.
We were hunted the moment we stepped in here. Like I said, you're either hunted or the hunter.
Yeah, I don't like being the latter. Or
Then don't
I
fight.
like being the latter. I don't like being the former.
You are aware it is coming. So we just wait for it to make a mistake. Then it is hunted.
So let's keep walking deeper into the forest, almost directly toward the noise that you heard, the cracking, the impact noise. About 30 minutes later, you enter what might have been a clearing at some point, but there is a large, like fungal stem that's now like just slammed into the ground here. The like bits of mushroom cap essentially scattered across, looking like almost like large blocks of styrofoam or something that's been strewn over the place. Like but large enough to be considered like a I think of a size comparison for you guys. It'd be like the size of like a dining room table, like bits like that sort of base size on the bottom, the size they've just been strewn all over the place.
Is this stuff edible?
Yeah.
I mean, most things are edible, but not everything is good for you.
One of these would feed a whole house for like a week.
Is it worth collecting some rations?
Um,
Do we
and
really
look,
have any idea how long we're going to be out here?
we can provide food daily, and I'm not sure we would trust anything that's been growing down here now.
That was kind of where I was going with that.
Right, you guys. Yeah, those of you who have a faster perception over 15 hear a faint noise.
I would like to look directly at the noise.
On the other side of this large trunk from you.
I would like to try and get closer to see if I can have a look.
I would like to move around further so I can see, but not be close to.
Climb
So
up on the trunk, maybe, if I need to.
So you're going to have to move around to get a look on this, the source of the noise. As you do, lying on their back on the far side of the trunk, both arms horribly shattered and both legs ruined, is what might have once been considered a relatively fit drow individual.
That looked like it hurt.
They are
I
like,
immediately look at my peripherals rather than at the drow.
there's nothing.
Like, Xanth is immediately on alert.
Mhm.
You don't leave something alive
Mhm.
unless you're hunting something else.
Seeing that's gone alert, Alice will go into lookout mode.
The drow is clearly trying to draw breath, but is coughing up what you're going to assume is blood, based on the fact everything is in grayscale.
Run the squill and then move over. This will probably hurt more. I will take. Well, I think we're well behind. Away from healer's kits at this point, so I will cure wounds. 11.
Your cure wounds, you just hear the drow making the strangled noise of pain as one of the legs tries desperately to pull itself back together. This individual, if you try and heal them, they are going to die horribly because they can't deal with the pain of the situation they're in. But healing them is going to hurt them worse. You might stack their hit points, but that's not this point. You're like, if I fix one leg, he's going to bleed out before everything else gets healed, fixed, whatever.
Do I think I could pour enough healing in to actually make a difference?
No. This guy is pretty much on his last legs.
Really?
So I did that. Yeah. Whoops.
Literally.
Oopsie.
I mean, I can throw a lot of healing.
The drow is clearly trying to force the liquid out of their mouth to try and say something.
I will turn ahead to help them.
They cough up. They literally retch out what looks clearly like a lung full of blood. Alice, from your point of slightly elevated vantage, there is now suddenly there's a lot of blood leaking out of this guy as they moved slightly. He has sprung a leak or two.
Keeping an eye out for anything that might try and enter the clearing.
Thanks.
Overwatch for
Celeste is
Zansk
more.
while Zansk does whatever Zansk's doing.
Yeah, Celeste has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, she's doing the protection against retching spell from the site.
The drow just looks at you, Zansk, and tries desperately, get out spores. Don't spores. And they gurgle and they, suddenly their arm, snaps around, even though it's broken. And as their back arches as if in great pain, and there's a sickening crack. Alice, from your point of view, you see this drow's shoulder blade essentially buckle as if pushed straight out of this guy's back, and the skin is pushed as almost like a fist attempts to punch its way out from inside the drow, almost.
Ew.
Does Zansk see this?
Not from your point of view, you're one side of this guy.
No spores, got it.
And the eyes
That's
go
not normal.
very pale, and the guy starts there's nothing left. The guy's eyes go white, and then you have a very horrible sensation.
I am plunging my sword into his neck and twisting.
Mm-hmm.
Zansk would end it quickly. He's not. He knows he can't help him.
Can I see anything fungal coming out of him?
And then
I don't want to hear this.
we should leave it for a while. We'll find out what happens next time.
God damn it.
Oh my
It's just fine 'cause I'll
god.
have forgotten by next time it was all over. I can't believe us.
And I will reiterate as we reach the end of the episode, both my players and the audience. This is not a pleasant place. Death happens here
At least it's not spiders.
in the most unpleasant ways possible. Both those who live here and those who dare set foot in this accursed place.
I need to go file my forwarding address for my mail.
You need to go find your brother as well. Poor little shit.
We just go find
Sans,
Zance.
you're gonna
PO
die
box.
again. I'm sorry. The statistics are not in your favor right now.
So
Nice.
remember that whole percentage of surviving? Yeah, that kind of dropped down to more of a
3% chance.
3%,
I will just quite
2.5.
casually say, this whole area was designed while I was on a serious horror kick.
Good, you know
So, nice mug there, mate.
Thank you.
It's our merch mug.
It wouldn't be a hashtag.
It's a
Dot
hashtag,
Pogo.
hashtag. Yeah, it's a hashtag dot Pogo.
Sorry.
So
Allow me
bad, you
to
have to
rotate.
hashtag it.
I feel like we need a hashtag fuck the Underdark.
Oh, wait, I'll earn that. I'll earn that as the next one.
Just silver lining, guys. No spiders.
No spiders.
We did rewrite the spiders out.
I literally, when I first wrote some of the bosses this campaign, I straight up had a Dryder, and I was like, when you joined Beth, I looked at the Dryder notes. I had the Dryder notes open. I was like, yeah,
They
let's
could
burn
go in the
those.
bin.
They're going in the bin. Goodbye. That's all Underdark. 43 pages of Underdark notes just dropped into the OneNotes folder, going written out.
I am sorry you had to waste so much of your hard work and precious time, but I really do appreciate
No,
it.
it's fine. It's fine. They're just gonna be somewhere else, in a different Underdark.
Just as long as I'm not in that campaign, it's fine.
I don't want to be in that campaign. We're not going back to the Underdark.
I will also stress, when I say horror, I mean like horrible body horror stuff. So if
Are we
you
going full on
incredibly
Cronenberg?
squishy- maybe not. I'm more thinking along the
The
lines of John Hurt in the Alien films.
Really, I hadn't quite figured that with the thing coming out with the freaking chest.